Hey Russell, it's your 30-year anniversary as a lawyer. Tell us how you got here.
So I was born here in Miami. I went to Palmetto High School. I graduated in 1987. Went to Florida State for undergrad, graduated from there in 1991, and then came back and went to law school at the University of Miami, where I graduated in the top 5 in my class in 1994. During law school, I clerked for a firm in town that did what's called insurance defense work. It was called Walton Lantax, Shorter and Carson. They went back to like the early 1900s. And I also clerked for a federal judge as an intern, Judge Edward Davis. He was the chief judge of the Southern District of State of Florida. I thought I might want to be a lawyer for like the SEC or doing contracts work. I summer interned or summer clerked for a law firm called Broad and Cassell, where I did that kind of stuff. After the first summer of doing the insurance defense work, where you're hands-on in court, in hearings, in trials, and with people all the time and helping people, or in that case, defending insurance companies against people. And then doing this dry, contractual, redlining, contracts type of work, I felt it was going to be better fit for me to go into trial work. So I'm back to that law firm where I got a permanent job. And I worked for two guys who are one of the biggest, or the biggest law firm, run the biggest law firm in the state of Florida today, and that was Richard Cole and Gene Cassane. And I owe everything to those guys. I also worked half of my time on what was called at that time the south part of the office, which was workers' compensation, and I worked for a guy there called Bernard Probst. And Bernie was a great mentor for me as well doing workers' comp. I was whisked away by a lawyer on the plaintiff's side, who's Louis Stabinsky, in 1996. And worked for him for 3 years learning the plaintiff's side of the work, representing victims. I had my first child in late 1999. And at that point, it was either become an entrepreneur and go out on your own with my buddy George, who I had known since law school, or kind of just stay in this practice where Stabinsky and his two sons had taken over basically at that point. He had two sons there. So I knew it was going to end up with him or them. So I went on my own in April of 2020. And since April of 2020, I've been basically on my own with some iterations of some partners here and there. And it's now 2025. So this will be my 25th anniversary of being on my own and my 30th anniversary of being a lawyer. The most important thing other than going on my own that's happened to me since that time is in 2007. So now it's almost been 20 years since then, I became board certified. And that's a big deal for personal injury plaintiffs lawyers. There's only 1% of civil trial lawyers that are board certified. And it just means you're the top of your profession. So that is 30 years as a lawyer.